now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Gretna Bill Show, a podcast about cycling culture and community locally here in Mount Gretna and in central Pennsylvania and the world, combating disinformation wherever we find it.
It's a huge day for us as Lebanon County residents. We have a chock full schedule. Hopefully everybody has a copy of the agenda for today. We're going to try to keep everything on time after we do a few comments here at the beginning and talk about a little bit of a status update on the trail. As you know, we're going to get on a bus and travel to two different ribbon cuttings today for two different sections of trail that are different in many ways. And I'll talk about that a little bit more at the sites. We're going to stick to this schedule and get everybody back here by about 2:30. Is that right, Tom?
A little bit later.
2:30. I was pretty confident about that until I heard Gretna Bill was going to be on the bus, and now we might end up in the other side of the Stony Valley and just keep going. We might just keep going for the weekend. Take the weekend off.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you, John. So as John indicated, I'm here as the mayor of Lebanon City and also as the chair of the policy committee for the MPO. So the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail is one of our hidden gems in our county. It winds through some of the most beautiful natural and even historic areas of our county, and I have to commend the efforts of John Wengert and the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail Board. I think we all need to give him a round of applause. I sincerely do not think there is a more successful and more dedicated board of volunteers in the Lebanon Valley than the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail. They have been working tirelessly since acquiring the former Cornwall-Lebanon Railroad Corridor in 1999. That's 20 years ago, folks. Can you imagine that? 20 years, John, you were a young man then.
You don't have to remind me. I was looking at the scrapbook last night, and you don't have to remind me.
I'm excited to be here and excited to celebrate with all of you these remarkable accomplishments and the remarkable persistence that this community has shown in order to continue to develop this trail. We know that trails take collaboration to happen, and we see that here in Lebanon County in really spades. We're seeing collaboration between the various levels of local government, collaboration with PennDOT, and again, working with DCNR. And so we really want to commend you all for doing that because it's hard. You know, this is hard work. It takes a long time. You know, it doesn't just happen overnight to build trails like this. And that persistence really does pay off as we're seeing today and as we'll continue to see as we move towards completion by 2025. Is that right? Or, yeah, so we'll look forward to being back here in 2025.
I just want to point out again the vivid partnerships that we have with DCNR, giving us to date, Lauren and staff, $2.8 million in funds for construction. PennDOT, Leona Barr is here. Leona is basically the project manager that works on all of our rail trail projects. Leona, wave your hand. We have one fully funded project, Phase 9C, out north of Jonestown. That's going to go to a bid letting very shortly. We're waiting for one permit. I think, Mark, we're still waiting for one permit. Okay. We have one partially funded project, Phase 6. Phase 6 goes from the city through North Cornwall Township out into North Lebanon Township. That project's in final design right now. Again, Lauren, thanks to a grant from you folks, that we're using all of those funds basically to design the entire project.
A couple sponsors, that we had for today. If you're going on the bus, you're getting a bag lunch from All That and a bag of chips. It was sponsored by the Gretna Bill Show. Gretna Bill is here in the front row. I encourage you to check out its brand new podcast on YouTube. It's about a month old or so, a couple months old, that Bill put together about the cycling culture here in central PA. Covers a lot. I've been a guest on it, and several other people talking about biking issues in general. Appreciate that, your sponsorship, Bill, for the lunch. Swiss Premium Dairy, we have some drinks down by the bus. I did twist some arms. Lebanon Transit, who's providing our transportation on the bus today. And again, Lebanon County Commissioners, all three are here today, which I think says something right there about what the support we have, and we really appreciate it. and the county planning department for the event planning today. So with that, we will adjourn this portion of the ceremony, and we'll proceed downstairs to the back. I'm John Wengert, president of Lebanon Valley Rails to Trails, and I want to welcome everybody here for the ribbon cutting for phase 7 of the rail trail. And I kind of entitled this, We've Come Such a Long Way. Not only mileage-wise, but figuratively as well. In November 2000, the year 2000, about a dozen folks gathered at the Coldbrook Trailhead to cut the ribbon on phase 1 of the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail. It was the kind of thing where mostly LVRT board members got together at noon on a Sunday, and I think Senator Brightville was there, and that was it. And you can see today how we've grown to where we are. It's a much different story now. And again, for those of you that weren't at the previous session, we have a couple special guests here today. We have Deputy Secretary from DCNR, Lauren Imgren, right here. DCNR has obviously been one of our longtime partners. Also, we have Leona. Don't go away. Leona Barr from PennDOT, District 8, or Central Office. District 8. I was right the first time. You were. Okay, Leona, PennDOT, again, one of our great sponsors. So we opened the first 5 miles back then in 2000, and almost immediately Lebanon County residents began to discover and explore this unique place where people of all ages and abilities could come to enjoy their favorite recreational activity. And over the next several years, the trail steadily gained popularity and was extended and extended again and extended again into the city, eventually reaching the city of Lebanon in Chestnut Street. So then we were finished, right? Were we finished, Pete? You're the one that kept bugging me.
Yeah.
I was going to have to search you out, but here you are right here. We weren't finished. Pete kept, every time I see Pete, when are you going to go north? When are you going to go out past my house? When are you gonna... So we were hardly finished. We began working on a feasibility study of expanding the trail across the northern half of the county. And we started asking, what if we could reach Swatara State Park as a vision? Well, today we're here to celebrate and officially open 2 phases of that effort. We're 2 steps closer to creating a trail that will stretch from Lancaster County all the way to Swatara State Park. Behind me is what we refer to as phase 7. At slightly less than 2 miles, this section has many outstanding features, including a direct connection to the Union Canal Tunnel Park, right over here, another Lebanon County treasure, and also the 130-foot culvert that was installed underneath Tunnel Hill Road. Phase 7 took 2 years to build and was was the most complex and challenging section of trail to date. Work was delayed by extremely wet weather in 2018, as well as the need to develop a co-use agreement with an adjacent agricultural operation near Long Lane. But the key stakeholders and the contractor, J.D. Ekman, are to be commended for their patience and perseverance, another word we used a lot earlier, patience and perseverance as we overcame all the obstacles and delivered such an impressive section of trail. And I think I want to recognize the representative from J.D. Ekman. See here. There they are, right here. Great job, guys. Really turned out fantastic. So again, we've come a long way. And during this journey, we've developed strong, long-term relationships with several partners that have been tremendously supportive of our efforts. Again, I want to thank DCNR, PennDOT, the county commissioners, all 3 of whom are here today to join us with the ribbon cutting, and our local and state representatives and municipal officials. Ed and Bruce, a couple municipal officials right here. I'd also like to thank the Lebanon County Historical Society and the Lebanon Valley Economic Development Corporation for granting us, for $1, an easement to complete this section. 2 easements that were needed that weren't owned by the county. pretty much what we're standing on here was LVEDC, and the next section adjacent to it was Historical Society. So LVRT provides the vision and the grassroots support, but all these key partners have been instrumental in getting us to this day. We have a unique public-private model here in Lebanon County, and I look forward to working with all of you over the next several years as we work to complete our vision. We'll start out with Deputy Secretary Ingrid Lori Kiefer-Yike, who's been one of our advisors for many, many years. Lori and I go back to the mid-90s. And Alex McDonald is also here from DCNR. Somewhere. There he is. You can, as I call you, just come on up and take a position up here. Lori, come on up. You're going to help. Get a scissors. Leona, if you could come up. PennDOT District 8. Lori. John Fitzke, Lebanon County Planning Department, who's our partner in everything we do. We work very closely with the Planning Department. All three county commissioners, Joellen Litz, Bill Ames, and Bob Phillips, if you could join us, please. There you are. Come on up, Jamie, representing Representative Frank Ryan's office. Frank's been a great supporter of ours and has actually attended meetings with us at PennDOT. Is Jill Weister here? Jill.
Come on down.
Representing Representative Russ Diamond. Thank you for coming. There you go. And then we have several of our board members, myself, Tom Cote, Todd Thissinger, Jay Green. Who else from our board?
Bigger ribbon, John.
Well,
1, 2, 3. Shove me. Hey, we're away. All right. Woo-hoo. Let's go.
Okay, so 1927 for this bridge structure called the Pratt Truss, 152 feet span. And again, Mark, you guys are saying about 41 feet above the stream. We're pretty high up here.
Not flooded.
When you get back on the bus, you can look at some of the old photos of the bridge and some of the work as it progressed through to construction. Again, this was entirely a project funded by PennDOT. The grant was $575,000 statewide TAP funds. LVRT Inc., we put in $75,000. There was some pro bono work as well by the construction company. The contractor was Kinsley Construction. Kinsley did a great job. One of the things we looked at, we got a couple of easements out to the south here. That made bringing in construction vehicles a lot easier rather than coming on the rail trail that existed and doing damage. So they said because of those easements and ease of access to this construction site, they would do about, John, $70,000 in additional work.
For
Yeah,
free.
$70,000 for free. So again, there's another partnership with the contractor. As we help them with mobilization and getting into the site, they helped us by doing additional work in the tune of $70,000. This bridge initially was half owned by the Kings Plantation Homeowners Association. They were rudely made aware of this when we did the Northern Feasibility Study. They thought they had no parts of this bridge, but after that deed research was done, they found out they owned half of it and had no liability insurance for it. So we negotiated a sale. We bought half of the bridge. We owned the other half already, I believe. We're hearing from so many folks that this is a great site, maybe to have a wedding. I'm sure, John, as we approach the fall and next spring and summer, we're going to get requests to use this for special events.
yeah. Yeah, that's happened in Cornwall too, at that bridge.
Yep.
So this will probably be even more dramatic.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
Second time I actually did it.
When this project started, it was simply going to be a bridge replacement. That's all the county wanted to have. And it slowly morphed from a bridge replacement to a bridge rehab to a bridge preservation. So what will ultimately happen with the Inwood Bridge, the one that was here, is it will be taken about 800-900 feet to the other side on land that was graciously donated by Chuck Allwine, who all of you know who previously owned the Jigger Shop. Chuck had land here that he had gotten from his wife and that he had for a number of years, sort of undeveloped, that he would use kind of as a place to come out and recreate. One day we had run the point where we really couldn't figure out what we were going to do with the historic bridge. We tried to look at, could we give it to Shippensburg to put on their campus. Problem with it was having a structure that's old with all its issues. No one wanted to pick it up, transport, and take it to a place that they'd have to deal with all the issues. So it was kind of like an orphan structure. We looked at a variety of places. We even looked at on the rail trail where Wilhelm Ave is, whether we could put the bridge over that location. And it didn't fit. So lo and behold, through a simple discussion, we were talking that Mr. Allwine had mentioned that he had these parcels, and we checked it out. Everything matched up in terms there was no sensitive materials like bog turtles or historic or environmental, anything that would trigger the project. And lo and behold, it all came together perfectly to the point where the new home for the bridge will be a pocket park that you will be able to get up on the bridge. It'll be perpendicular to the Swatara, and it'll almost be like an MA that there'll be parking, there'll be places for people to sit at a picnic table. So as the trail comes up here, the new structure will serve as the entryway into Swatara State Park and across the creek. It will be above the flood area, and it will allow for a lot better. Instead of a single lane bridge, we're going to have a double lane with nice wide shoulders.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining in to the Gretna Bill Show, the Lebanon Valley Rail Trail dedication ceremony edition. We're on the bus going back to headquarters, downtown Lebanon in Mount Gretna, and we're on the back of the bus right now, which I'm totally used to being at. So, bye everybody, say goodbye.
Bye.
Gretna Bill Show, yeah.